Welcome to the Miracle You, guiding you on the journey towards finding passion and purpose, and how to discover, create, and live a life by your design. Whether your success has been plentiful or your missed opportunities have been overwhelming, we can help you become a more empowered, masterful person and show you how to share your gift with the world. It's time to inspire change from within with the host of the Miracle You, Vince Kramer.
Hello, imagination. I'm Vince Kramer, your host, and welcome to the Miracle You, where you learn about the magic of living your life by finding the example in real life. We've shared with you many times that we're all energy. And when you understand that you're energy and the people around you are energy, the nice thing that comes through that understanding is that it's time to learn about universal laws. It's time to learn about the energetic, as we say, day-to-day way that quantum physics affect us. When you understand the brain, you understand how your body works and how the energy of beliefs and our words and our language and even the way we move and touch others has an effect on them and has an effect on us energetically. And when you learn how to reprogram your beliefs based on the energy, when you learn how to clear the negative energies out of your body to open yourself up to receive more of the, shall we say, creative energies of the universe, you can totally change your life. And that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm with Art Giser today, and Art's an internationally renowned NLP trainer, executive coach, leadership consultant, intuitive, remote energy worker, and healer. He is the creator of Energetic NLP, a special blend of neuro linguistic programming, spiritual principles, and transformative energy work. Wow, Art. Art is known for his humor, caring, powerful remote energy work, and his ability to help people release energetic, spiritual, and subconscious blocks and limitations and open up their miraculous spiritual abilities. Art Giser, are you ready to share the miracle of you with the imagination?
I'm thrilled to be with you, Vince. And if I can give one caveat to your listeners, both of us, since both of us do powerful energy work, they probably shouldn't be listening to this while they're driving, because even if we're not intending it, probably the energy is going to get pretty strong. So it's not a good idea when you're driving.
Excellent. That's a great reminder for everybody. I've known Art for quite a while now. We've worked together in really understanding how to best bring our work to the world and share. And we've been able to share each other's work and understand what we're all about and how we're making a difference in the world. The intro, Art's very, very short. Although you've got so many wonderful things packed in there, could you share a little bit more about what you actually do in the world and a little bit more about yourself?
Yeah, I like to say that I do woo-woo without the woo-woo. And so just so people understand, part of my background is I managed a medical research lab for 11 years. I worked with developing leaders and teams in like international corporations. And so I have a very, and my father was an early computer guy. I have a very practical, logical side, but I also have a strong mystical side. And in Energetic NLP, I try to bring all of those together. For people who aren't familiar with NLP, which stands for Neuro Linguistic Programming, I'm sure they've heard of Tony Robbins. He's the most famous person in our field. And while he has his own way of doing things, all the rah-rah and the way, he has his own style, but the core of his ability to transform people's lives came from the NLP. And I've been an NLP trainer since 1985, and I combine it with spiritual principles, transformative and healing energy work, especially remote energy work, and opening up people's abilities to work with energy. So I like to think of all those things as the parents of energetic NLP, and it has qualities from all of its parents, but it's grown up to be its own person.
So everything that you've brought together, all your gifts and talents from all your experiences, what would you say, let's say in 5 or 7 words, what is your purpose in life? And then how are you bringing that right now?
Yeah, I think 5 or 7 words. Let's see.
I try to
Um,
keep you short there.
yeah, well, I'll make it. I like making things better. I um, I, I rediscovered a book that when I was like 4 or 5 was my favorite book. It was about a little chipmunk. I think he was a mailman. And I reread it, but he wasn't just a mailman. He was essentially a life coach. He would deliver people's mails, but he'd be giving them advice and changing their lives. And my mom said, I'd make everybody read me that book over and over and over again. And I read it and went, oh, no wonder I liked it. He was essentially a life coach. So, what my joy is, which is maybe even different than my mission, is just making things better. In
Excellent.
fact, I heard a comedian the other day. He's like a 30-year-old guy, and he goes, I can't wait to be 65 because then you can spend your time giving people advice they haven't asked for.
Isn't that true? It's so funny. Let me ask you this,
I
Art.
just started early.
Well, it was kind of NLP, right? That book was a little NLP work there for you.
Yeah, it was.
So that's kind of a big switch, moving from the world that you were in before. I know big and small at the same time. So I'm not trying to say
No, it
that
was
your
big.
move was, but so what got your attention, and what moved you to step into spirituality, to step into
Yeah.
NLP?
Well, when I was young, I was very adventuresome. And then graduated from college, and I got this research job managing a research lab for the University of California Medical School in San Francisco. And it was a good job, and I was proud of what we were doing. And over lunch, I could listen to Nobel laureates. For people who know about DNA and stuff, it was that the structure that was discovered by Watson and Crick. I heard Watson one day, I heard Crick. I heard all these amazing people. I worked with great people, but I didn't belong there. And I knew I didn't belong there. And I didn't know, though, now it sounds funnier to people because people are more entrepreneurial, but it didn't occur to me I could start my own thing. And I was like trying to find a job or something that would fit, and nothing felt right. But I'd always had this belief that something was going to just appear. But meanwhile, the years are going on, and at a certain point I'm thinking, well, maybe I'm just lying to myself, and it's just a big excuse, and what's wrong with me, and why can't I? And my life was great. I had true love. Like I say, I had a good job and all of that. I had a lot of fun, but and I'm sure people listening can, some of you relate to this. It's just I knew I didn't belong there. It wasn't where I really could offer what I could offer to the world. And I went to a talk on intuition, and it wasn't very good. But during a break, I went outside in the hallway, and there was a bulletin board with flyers on it. And one of them said, Neuro linguistic programming. And I read the words, and literally it felt like a bolt of lightning hit me on top of the head and went down my midline through my body. It was just like, boom. And the scientist in me went, what was that? And the mystic in me went, well, what do you think it was? It was a sign. And then I went back in the room, and I was kind of a little stunned. And they were selling books on intuition, but one of the books wasn't on intuition. It was an NLP book. I thought, okay. So I bought it, and then everything in my life changed.
Wow, amazing. The universe puts things out there for us, and we know we have that calling all the time. So before we go any further, I'm sure there's some people listening that don't know what neuro-linguistic programming is. And I know the majority don't know what energetic neuro-linguistic programming is. So could you share about both of those?
Sure. So neurolinguistic programming, or NLP, the people who developed that, they knew of, at the time in psychology, they were talking about you had to be in therapy for at least 5 years to make a deep change. In fact, in a Woody Allen movie, he's talking to his girlfriend and goes, I've only been in therapy 12 years. And, and that was and it was all about, well, if you figure out how you got the way you were. And the people who started NLP went, well, they knew of about 6 therapists in the world who got amazing rapid results with people. So they started studying them and videotaping them. And, at that time, a videotape machine was about half as big as a refrigerator. So it was a big deal. And they developed this whole theory about, it was first therapeutic, but then they expanded it to more, it was both for therapy, but also how did you open up people's hidden abilities. And the idea was if you could study somebody who's really good at something, and you could figure out their internal reality. So it's like if you want to learn how to snowboard, you can go to a coach who will show you how to move your body. An NLP person would go, this is what goes on in the mind of a great snowboarder. And it's a phenomenal field, and you can make really rapid, deep changes. In fact, I was skeptical of it at first because it was like, you can't really, get somebody over a phobia in one session and stuff. It just seemed really extreme, and often you can. But I realized it also had its limitations, and I started studying healing work and intuition development and psychic work. And so in the NLP work, I was seeing miracles all the time. In the other spiritual work, I was seeing miracles. And they had different strengths and weaknesses. And I started realizing, well, if I put them together, it was like 1 + 1 = 11 kind of thing. And so I started weaving them together, and then people were getting even better results. And that was the birth of energetic NLP. So it's bringing together, people have heard of chakras and the aura, learning how to work with the human energy system and bringing in different spiritual processes like clearing karma and different things, along with the NLP, which is a much more logical, direct work with the mind. And together they're amazing. They're just, after all these years, it's still constantly new and evolving and surprising to me.
Well, I've experienced your work, and I will vouch for it. It's absolutely amazing work.
Thank you.
To kind of take it to the next level, Art, could you share an example? It could be a real example or a made up one of what NLP would look like working with a patient or a client, or and then how it would look with the same client if you were using energetic.
Yeah, that's a great question. So NLP has a lot of aspects to it, but one, we work with parts. And it's called neuro-linguistic programming because one of the things we analyze is people's language as a reflection of their internal reality. And people are always talking about, well, part of me wants to stay in my secure job, part of me wants to try something new, part of me this, part of me that. And so they're going, what are all these parts? And there's only one of any one person, but just like your body has parts, your personality has parts. If people talk about inner child work, it's more like inner children. There's the playful child in you, there's the scared child, there's the wise part of you, there's the lazy part of you. We have all these parts, which is good. We're like diamonds. We have all these facets, and those facets are what make a diamond sparkle, and our facets are what make us sparkle. But the strength and weakness of NLP is you treat everything as being internally generated. So there is this external world, but we're looking at how are you responding to that, what's going on in your conscious and unconscious mind in a very detailed way that's very powerful. And when you do energy work, you discover everything you feel isn't your own feeling. Everything you think isn't your own thoughts. We're constantly absorbing other people's energy, and their energy has their thoughts in it and their emotions in it. And so let's say I'll have people go, I'm an anxious person. I guess it's genetic. And my mom was anxious, and I've always been anxious. And I've learned how to control it and stuff, but I'm an anxious person. And if I clear that energy out of their space, their mother's energy, let's say, or it might be their father's, all of a sudden, it's not that they never feel anxious, but it's different. It's authentic. It's what they should be feeling. So in NLP, they might be working with parts of your unconscious. When I do it with people, first we drain other people's energy out of those parts, and that is like a miracle in and of itself. It completely changes things. And the idea is not that, it isn't whether other people's energy is good or bad. It's just, it's not yours. And when you clear it out, all of a sudden decisions are easier. Your sense of purpose and mission, you handle your emotions, no matter even the most intense emotions like grief and extreme fear. People can handle their own emotions. The problem is they sucking in other people's fear and other people's grief and anxiety, and you can't handle it because it's not yours. But you can learn how to clear it and keep it out.
Right.
So that's one example.
So let me ask you, do you have an actual example of what kind of changes people have when you do energetic NLP with them?
Yeah. Um, yeah. So for example, I mean, an example I just gave, there's people who come start seeing me and they're convinced that being anxious or being depressed or being frustrated is wired into them. And then when we clear out other people's energy and then we work with what's going on in their unconscious around it, they realize that was never them. That was a set of programs running in them. And that completely changes everything in their life. And we do a lot on identity and self-concept, and I don't want to make health claims because, and sometimes like miraculous changes. Like I worked with this one guy, and I worked with him remotely over the phone, and he was in the hospital, and his blood tests were changed, and his doctors, when he and I worked, his doctors couldn't figure it out because all of a sudden, all of his, the physical parameters would shift the next day. But boy, people use it. I mean, the results typically people feel more confident, they feel happier. The people who do my longer training programs want to open up their abilities to work with energy. And they're amazed that they can do miraculous things, that they can heal themselves and others, they can transform things, they can evolve themselves spiritually. And like some of them are in corporate situations, and like one of my students, people tell her like they know when she's in the building, like the energy in the building is different. And another one, if she's at meetings, the meetings go better, even if she doesn't say anything, because she's working with the whole energy of what's going on. So, am I answering your question? I mean,
Definitely.
Yeah, because I mean it's always not very persuasive, or it's so vague to go, you can use it in every area of your life, but you can. I mean, you can use it in relationships and health and career, everything.
Well, with our energy and the energy around us, everything is affected, and that's what it is. So it
Yeah.
definitely has to affect every area of our life. Let me ask you this. We all can work with the energy. Like you said,
Yeah.
you can share in your long programs and help people heal themselves and a lot of other things. And we know that that's possible because there's evidence of that everywhere.
Right.
So could you share or maybe one energy technique that somebody could use right now that would make a difference in their life?
Yeah, there's some really, really simple ones that can make a big difference. In one so in energetic NLP, we use a lot of, the more playful you are with energy work, in my opinion, the stronger it is. It's like when people try to do it right and they're serious. And I mean, that's one way to do it. And some people do really, really well that way. We do the opposite. We're playful and we use our imaginations. And so for anybody who's familiar with the idea of chakras, the energy centers in the body, and having an aura or an energy field, a really fun thing you can do is just pretend you have like a vacuum hose that's going into the earth, and go through and vacuum out your chakras and in your whole energy field. And if somebody's feeling tired or frustrated or whatever, if you vacuum out your energy field and then you ask your spirit to fill you, you always want to fill back up, to fill you up with more of your true essence and supportive earth and universal energies, you'll feel like a million times better almost immediately. So, I mean, I'll just pretend, and we have chakras above, I'll just kind of go through and, okay, I'm clearing my heart chakra, clearing, and if people don't know where the chakras are, they can just kind of run wherever your hand will kind of know where to go, and just you clear things out, and then it's really important to always fill back up. One of the two quotes I know from Aristotle is, nature abhors a vacuum. Nature abhors a vacuum. Because if you clear your energy and you don't fill back up, something is going to fill it. You don't want something to fill it.
Exactly.
So you just clear out and go, okay, spirit, bring in more of my authentic energy and energies that will support me.
It sounds fun, and people, you'll be surprised when you really put your mind and your heart and that energy to clearing things out, that you'll see it and feel it. Let me ask you this, Art. In that experience, when people finally start to remember that their energy and remember that they can work with the energy, what do you see some big changes right away, or is it small changes at first? What could people expect if they start to work with their energy?
It really varies. I mean, when they're working with it on their own, so like the technique I just taught, that'll make you feel better. But if you don't know how to, well, let me back up. So energy can't stay stuck in a person's energy field unless it hooks into something, either karma or unconscious programming or energetic program or ancestral programming, but something. So when you just clear your energy and fill back up, it's like if you've ever weeded a garden. Like when I was a kid, I'd pull the top off weeds, and my dad would go, "You got to get the roots, or you're going to have more work next week." So in energetic NLP, we're always looking for what are the roots, like what is it hooked into, and it can be unconscious feelings of not being worthy, or for a lot of people, but particularly women, programming, I must take care of others, so I must absorb their energy, or it can be, I have to keep earning my right to exist. I mean, there's all kinds of deep unconscious beliefs. So we're always looking at changing those. And that's where you get the real, you change one of those. And I remember working with a woman once, and we had a great session, and she came back a week later and she goes, I really enjoyed the session, but I just don't see how it could have really affected my life. And I went, okay, well, what's been going on last week? And she starts talking about her week, and she's like smiling more and more and more. And then finally she goes, oh, and everybody has been nicer to me. And I went, well, maybe they all went and had sessions. And she cracked up. So when you're working with somebody trained in energetic NLP, and I never promise people what's going to happen after one session, but one session sometimes that just changes your life in very significant ways. But when people work on their own energy, it's really, really helpful. But until you know a bit more about it, and even in my, not my long training programs, the shorter ones, I'll often teach people how to start getting the roots. What's the energetic or unconscious programming? And that's where you get the real generative life changes very quickly.
Yes, you bet. When we get down to those beliefs, especially the ones that we don't even know we have that are kind of ruling our lives, it makes such a big difference. I know in our conversation before we started the interview, Art, you were sharing with me that there's a relaunch coming and some changes coming in your program. Can you share with us what you've got coming and what kind of difference that's going to make?
Well, uh, I've had for some time online programs, some that are completely go at your own pace, some are go at your own pace plus group coaching, some are longer training programs. And I have about 8 programs available online now, the people that are either completely at your own pace or that, plus the group coaching. In the group coaching, one of my specialties and one of the things I train people to do is remote energy work. And so the ones with the group coaching are really, really powerful. But even the recorded ones, and I'm sure you know this from your work too, Vince, it works on the recording too. And if you pretend when you're listening to watching a video or listening to audio, you access the energies. But then I am going to be starting. I guess it depends when people are listening to this, but in May of 2021, I'll be restarting a year-long training program. But all year I have both live programs that are online or hopefully in person again soon, and the ones that are completely online. So it's actually quite a bit that's going to be coming up in 2021 and 2022.
Well, I'll tell you what, I bet you that we could work it out that this gets released like the last week in April. So we can
Oh,
share what's going to happen in May, and it'll be perfect timing for everyone to check into
oh,
and really get to know you better and see if that year-long program is something that they want to take part in.
well, if it can be released end of April, in early May, we, we're going between 2 different weekends, but in early May, I'll be doing a 3-day online program that's called Discover Your Miraculous Abilities. You know, and it's one of my favorite programs to lead. And in it, people, by the end of the 3 days, they can do remote energy work. They can work on themselves. They can work on other people. And again, they can use it in any area of their lives. So that Discover Your Miraculous Ability program, if people can make it to that it's fun. It's completely life changing. You come out of it just feeling really confident and powerful and able to really like one of the best feelings in the world is I can help friends and family members. It doesn't matter where they are and where I am in the world. If something's going on, a friend of mine right now who lives in the UK, her father's very sick. So I'm working with her father. I'm working with her, and it's just such an incredible feeling to be able to help the people you care about, no matter where you are.
Right. Bring your gifts and talents and truly make a difference. Well, I know the
Yeah.
podcast host, so I'm sure that we're going to release this the last week in
Yeah.
April, so people can
Well,
take
thank you.
advantage. You bet. We'll take advantage of your 3-day program for sure. Believe it or not, Art, we are running out of our time together. Could you share the one thing that you want to make sure people take out of this podcast and remember?
Yeah. Everybody is an embodiment of a vast, powerful being, and when you remember that, and when you realize that you have so much incredible potential inside of you, and I don't think people have to fulfill all their potential, but we can. And whether you work with Vince or myself or a lot of other people, um, learn how to work with energy, learn how to open up your spirituality. And no matter what's going on in your life, once you know how to do that, and I lost the love of my life a few years ago, and after 40 years, and my students have gone through all kinds of experiences. But when you really start working with energy, there's a level of, there's a foundation to your life that's unshakable. And no matter what's going on, you know you're not just going to get through it, but the other side will be beautiful too. So I really encourage people to learn more about working with their own energy.
Great advice and a beautiful picture that you painted. I appreciate that. I know people are going to want to learn more about you, more about Energetic NLP. Can you share how they can get in touch with you?
Yeah, what I would recommend, so if they go to ENLP, like Energetic NLP, ENLP, and then the number 10.com, I have a free, I call them energy spas. At the beginning part of it, I explain some concepts, and then I just work with people's energy. They just get to completely relax. They put their own spirit and inner wisdom in charge. And that particular energy spa is to increase personal power, confidence, and your ability to be into action. So that's what I would most recommend. Again, it's enlp10.com. And again, you don't have to work hard. You don't have to think hard. You just get to relax and let the energy do the work, guided by your own spirit.
And imagination, like I shared earlier, I'm very familiar with Art's work, and you will be absolutely amazed, and there will be differences that you see right away. So please take advantage of that. I'm going to put all the ways that you can get in touch with Art and learn about what he's doing on his show page. Just look for Art Giser at themiracleu.com, and all that information will be available. Art, I want to thank you for taking your time to be with us today. I also want to thank you for making the difference that you're making in the world. We very much appreciate you as a businessman, as a healer, and especially as a friend.
Well, thank you. I will echo that back to you. And just your show, I've been listening to some of the podcasts, and it's just what you're putting out in the world is so beautiful. And I know it's coming from your heart. For those of you, you can't see Vince. Vince is a big guy, but his heart is even way bigger. And what you're offering to people and the love that you're sending it with is really beautiful. So I'm honored to be part of your podcast.
Oh, thank you very much.
And to be your friend.
Oh, thank you. On behalf of Mary, my wife and business partner, the entire team at Imagine Miracles, we want to wish each and every one of you a miracle day.
You've completed this episode of The Miracle You, but we have plenty more to help you discover your own personal passion and purpose. Head over to themiracleu.com for free resources to assist you on your journey, as well as register for our free webinar, Discover Your Miracle Life, 3 Mind Awakening Steps Toward Your Unique Purpose, or apply for a one-on-one Your Life, Your Way breakthrough session and discover your next best step on your journey. All available exclusively on our website. That's themiracleu.com. We look forward to sharing more experiences of passion, purpose, and life by design next time, right here on The Miracle You.